thriving right now. So you start to feel like as if you're the burden or you're the baggage. So you start hating on yourself because you feel like you're making other people suffer. Or maybe what if you weren't born, maybe your mother would have been the happiest, would have been living a better life, would have been, you know, whatever she wants. And now there is you who is in the picture. So you feel like you're the problem. So sometimes these things come and they take over our brains. And you know, our brain, as I've always been telling you guys, our brain really acts in our favor. Yeah. So for it, it will come and interpret what you've told it. For you, what you call reality is what it will interpret, and it will hold on to that. So if you always think that the world is unfair to you, bad things really happen to you because you deserve them, that's what you always feel. That's why every time you get even a nice thing or you achieve something, you don't even rejoice because you feel like, no, this is not where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be getting bad things. That's why some of us, when we get people who love us, who care about us and all that, we always sabotage it because we feel like we are used to chaos. We are used to bad people. We are used to, you know, we are not used to peace. So another way how some of us got to hate ourselves are the cultures that we were raised in, or even the religion. Let me tell you a simple story. When we were growing up, most of us, we were so much taught how God hates sin, how God doesn't want people who misbehave. Me, I remember those days when we were growing up, like when you do a mistake, they could beat you while reciting a Bible verse. Also, my mother could be like, "Sura mugo yono mwana, katonda atawe chibi," something like that. Like we could always be punished. Like we were always taught that God hates sin. We weren't taught so much of how God is loving. We weren't taught about how God is full of grace and all that. We're all so much taught of how God hates sin. So anytime you found yourself sinning, you felt like maybe you're undeserving, because they told us God sees everywhere. So even if you do something bad and no one notices, but in your head you know like God has seen me. So you start to feel like as if maybe you don't deserve. You do not deserve. You don't deserve to be like you're undeserving because you're so sinful. Because we're taught how God hates sin, how he hates people who sin, how if you do not obey the 10 commandments, like the repercussion that you will get. Like we're so much taught of that. And we weren't taught about how God is loving, how God is caring, how God is, you know. So every time you found yourself sinning, you felt like maybe you're undeserving of God's love. And the moment you feel like you're undeserving of God's love, yeah, it's over for you. So you feel like you don't deserve. You're undeserving even to the world because you're undeserving of God's love. And some of us, the cultures that we grew up from, so anything that anytime that you do something that is contradicting with our culture or the society, you know, when like society is not as the past society is not as it is right now, because before they told us a village raises a child. So anytime that you did a mistake, even the neighbor can punish you. Or any day that you did a mistake, any person can come and sit you down and they can show you that you're bad, you're not good enough, you're not supposed to do that and all that. So some of us, maybe that culture made us feel like maybe we are undeserving. And now we start to hate ourselves because we feel like I'm not beautiful enough, I'm undeserving, I don't deserve this, I don't deserve that, I don't deserve that. So yeah. And another thing about when, like, if we are to talk about self-hatred, where it came from, too many failures in life. I remember those days I was in my senior sixth vacation, and I was at campus, I think. So I started to look for other jobs, you know, the things, you know, campus days can be hot, yeah. So sometimes you feel like, okay, I need to add on something. However much I'm studying, I need to find ways on how I can add on the money that comes into my pockets because I need to survive. So I started going for interviews, and I could always be rejected. Not because I wasn't good enough, but some people could reject me because of my busy schedule. Someone's like, no, you can't just come in holidays and work for me and then or you can just come in the afternoon to work. For me, I need someone who, like, full-time, person. Or some people could just feel like maybe you're still young, and some people can just do it because they feel like they don't tell it direct to you, but some of them are parents. They're like, if this girl starts to work and study, they won't be able to balance. So I reached a point where I felt like maybe I'm not good enough. Why is it that every time I go for an interview, I do not pass? Even up to now, guys, I'm trying to go past it, but I started getting a phobia of interviews because I felt like every time I go to an interview, I do not get what I want. So I started to fear interviews. I'm that kind of person, and I started to be this kind of a person, like, even if I'm so much conversant with that information I'm going to be asked, I will go there and I will stammer. Because I have that in mind that, these people are going to put me off. I'm not good enough. So the rejections I got made me feel like maybe I'm undeserving. Even right now, I still fear interviews. I'm trying to go through past it, but it traumatized me so much. So it can be even you as a person. You've gone through too many failures. You've started a business, it collapsed. You started another business, it collapsed. Or you had that relationship, you had another one, the same. And you're like, I think the problem is with me now. I think I'm not good enough. I'm not undeserving. I'm not beautiful enough. So you stamp on that. So self-hatred really comes in very different, various ways. And it comes with that inner voice. Let's talk about that inner voice that you always get in your head. That inner voice where you look yourself in the mirror and you're like, I'm not beautiful enough. That inner voice that you always hear and it tells you, for you always mess up things. That inner voice that you always, like, every time you make plans, it comes to you like, I bet you will not achieve any. That inner voice that always comes to you and tells you that you're not great enough, you are not enough, you're undeserving, you don't deserve such a person to be in your life. Some of us, that inner critic always comes to us and sabotages even the better things that we would have achieved. You get someone who loves you genuinely, they care about you so much, and that inner voice comes to you like, hey, give it a few minutes, give it a few days, give it a few maybe weeks, it will be gone. So you start to even work towards, because you feel like this love or this person being consistent to you, they are going to change. But sometimes just the voice we have due to our past experiences. Yeah. So I want you to know, every time that you get that inner critic, I want you to know that you as a person, you're different from your inner voice. You're different from your thoughts. These thoughts, let me give you a simple, how can I say it? These thoughts just come as a way of reacting to certain situations in our lives. And these thoughts are, we people, we are watchers. Like, you're different from your thought. Like, yourself, however much that thought is in your head, but you're two different things. You can sit there and watch your thought, or you can let your thought define who you are, or define what you believe in. Because thoughts are just there. I told you the brain is just there to protect us. Maybe something has ever happened to you, and maybe you got a disappointment when you trusted someone, and now you're getting someone you want to trust again. Just because you have that past experience, your brain will be like, Mokwano, don't do it. Don't do it, because it has ever tested. But sometimes it's just something that you're just trying to go far. Just because you had a bad experience doesn't mean that this person is going to treat you bad. Or, like, you understand what I'm trying to mean. So this inner critic, sometimes I want you to start naming it every time it comes to you. Me, I had a problem of procrastination. I used not to be so consistent, and I used to get my things done. I used not to care, but I could get my things done, whether on last minute or what. But there's certain people who come into your life and they start to, just because you're not maybe like them, they start to criticize what you are. Be like, me, I know you will not be able to do this. Me, I know you will not be able to, to accomplish this. Me, I know, So someone starts to make you feel like they know you will not be able to achieve a certain thing. So every time you try to do certain things, that brain comes, if they over talk to you about it, and now it starts to, come back. So you try to make, you try to make plans, and that inner voice comes back to you and be like, you're not going to be able to achieve this. So the moment you associate yourself with that inner critic, it is done. It is gone for you, because your brain will start to work towards achieving that. Hope I'm understood. So every time you get that inner critic, first get to know whose voice is that. Is it the society that set the beauty standards? Like when you look in when you look in the mirror and that inner critic says to you, you're not beautiful enough, you're not smart enough, you're not good enough. Name it. Is it the society that set the beauty standards? Is it that toxic ex of yours? Or is it your mother? Is it your stepmother? Is it your father? Is it your friend? Is it that bully, that person who bullied you in class or something? Name the critic. Name the voice, whose voice it is. And then you separate yourself from the voice, from that thought. Start to watch it. Because sometimes these voices, when they come into our heads, they start to act as if this is the truth. Yeah. So you feel like, oh man, now you start to approve, because I told you, your brain will always take in what you call truth. So I want you to start looking at that critic as something that is separate from you. Do not associate with do not associate yourself with the critic. So when that thing comes to you in your head, tell it. If you can shout, shout. If you can just say it in calmly in your head. If someone tells you you're not beautiful enough, if it tells you you're not beautiful enough, just tell it no. I do believe that those are your society standards. But for me, when I look in the mirror, I'm beautiful enough. Yeah? It comes to you, you're undeserving. Yes, I know. For you, but for me, I feel like I deserve to be in the world. I was created with a purpose. You try to respond back to it with a positive. I know it is not easy. It is not easy, yeah. But the more you separate yourself from that inner critic, from that thought, the more things become better. I assure you. At first I thought, I'm like, that is the reality. It is the truth. We have to be in the reality. Mokwano, no. Nida. It happens. It always happens. Because for me, as I've told you, I used not to be consistent with things. I used to procrastinate a lot. And my brain had gotten used to it. And every time I'd be like, after all, I know I'm going to procrastinate. After all, I know I'm not going to be consistent. So every day I could be like, we can be consistent. If other people can be consistent, who am I not to be? Who am I not to be? If other people can do their things on time, who am I not to be? So I know I'm not yet there 100%, but at least I have progress. I'm somewhere right now because I learned how to speak back to this inner critic. So you try it and see. Do not try it one day and you're like, I tried it but it didn't work. Mokwano, you have to put in energy every single day. Every time you get a disappointment, your brain might tell you, me, I told you, you will not be able to make it. And it has happened. You're like, nah. Failure is part of success. If I don't fail, I won't learn. Like, try, not until you get where you want to be. I assure you, you will get there. So you're still on Mind Talks with Sandra. I know healing is not going to just happen. You've had this critic for some good time. You've had the self-hatred for some good time. So do not think that watching a TV show here is going to make you feel better or make you heal instantly. I want you to know that healing takes time. Yeah, it takes time. It takes you to always show up to yourself. Sometimes you fail. sometimes you show up, but regardless, do not ever, ever forget to show up for yourself. So I want you to know that healing takes really a lot of time. Yeah, so you do not think that you're going to heal from something that you've been having for so many years in just one day. So I want you to have it in your mind. So you're still in Mind Talks with Sandra, where we hold conversations like this, where we do believe that healing can start with just a simple conversation. It can spark off healing, like a simple conversation, so it can spark off healing for anyone out there. So thank you so much for always tuning in. We are always live every Wednesday, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. East African time, here on 4TV. So always share, tell a friend to tell a friend. We're always live on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and you can also get your 4TV app. Thank you so much. So some of us, by they think that we have our our suffering is unique. You know, you're like, my problem is very unique. No other person has this problem. No other person, like, and some of us even feel like this, like you get someone and like the moment they get to know who I am, I know they will not like me anymore. The moment they, me, I had a problem like that because I grew up, like I was, where I did my O level from, I don't know, I was so stubborn and I could be the bad example everywhere, in class, on assembly. So I felt like maybe, I don't know. And the more they criticized me, the more I became more even terrible. And I felt like no one can ever give me genuine love because the moment they get to know me, because my mom could be like, saying that you, like, you see that those small berries, I don't know how they are called. I don't know how they are called in Rotoro, but they are small. They look so good, but the moment you taste them, they are so sour. They're like eggplants, but they are so small. So the moment you eat it, it is so sour. So people used to call me like that. Like someone can find you when you're quiet. They feel like, okay, this girl is cool and all that. And the moment they get to know who you are, they'll be like, Sandra, I didn't know that you're such a stubborn girl. Lelelelele. So every time I could, because when I go to campus, I had my friends and I would told them. I remember they even still remind me of that day. I told them, but for me, I'm a bad person, by the way, you guys. Do not trust me that much. You don't need to be my friends because I'm a bad person. Not because, I said it because that's something I had believed. Everyone made me feel like I'm bad because I was stubborn. Even at school, be like, hey, that girl, when you see her, when she's quiet, you might think that she's human. But the moment, so I had that in my mind. If you come to me and you become my friend, in my head I'm like, they have just want me quiet. But the moment I start to speak or I start to act, they'll hate me. So that's why most of us think, you're like, the moment these people get to know who I am, the real me, they're going to hate me. But sometimes not like that, because I've had my friends for some good time. They did not hate me. But for me, I thought I'm unlovable. Yeah? Given the things that I was being told when I was growing up. So even you, like I've really, like no one is having a special problem. The problems that you're having right now, most people have gone through them. And self-hatred is one of them. Most people have gone through it. You see those people, you think that life is so perfect for them. I've sat with people in my, you know, this counseling sector can make you meet different people, and you meet a person, like on their appearance, they're looking so good. They seem to be so cheerful. You check on their socials, they're really, really doing great. But when you sit down with them, you're like, hey, this person doesn't show that they're really going through such a certain, you know. So I want you to know that these problems are just part of life. And I've seen, the mere fact that I've sat with different people who are struggling with even more, and they are healed now, I do believe that everyone can heal. Even you, if you're the kind of person who has been struggling with self-hatred, I believe that you can heal, and you will heal, yeah? So let's go step by step on how best maybe we can overcome self-hatred. As I told you, we are not going to heal in one day. You've had this problem for many years. For many years. So do not think that you're going to heal in one day, but it will need you to put in more practice so that you can be better. Remember, as I always say, we are all work in progress. Take yourself as a project. You're given a project to work on. Sometimes it has its, challenges. You face challenges, but you don't give up because maybe it's a project that you have to accomplish. So it has to be you. Take yourself as a project, the project that you have to work on, So, number one, the friend effect. Start to take yourself as your friend. Every time that you make a mistake, think of how you would speak to a friend. Some of us, we speak to our friends like if they make mistakes, we'll be like, hey, Manage, you did this mistake, but it's not the end of the world. You can still do better. You can still, you can still do better. You did this, I'm mad at you, but it's not the end of the world. Or you did this to someone, or maybe you went through this situation, but it will do better. It will get better. So, the moment you go through any situation, so when you speak to yourself, first rethink, like, what if I was my friend? Okay, what if it was my friend who had done this mistake? What would I have said to them? Is it the same statement? If it is the same statement, if it is not, please rephrase that statement and speak it to yourself. You're like, you know what? You've done this mistake, but you're just human. You can do better. You can do better. We are just healing. We are just trying to do better. Yeah? So another thing that you have to do, or you should do, you should separate the behavior from the belief, or from the action. Your behavior from the action. So let me take an example. You've done a mistake. You've made a mistake. So instead of, so you can just say, I regret doing this. Full stop. Instead, I regret doing this, so I'm unworthy. So the moment you put unworthy, that means you have tied yourself to the action. So separate the separate the action from the behavior. So when you do a mistake, it's okay, because we do not want people who do not take accountability. So it means it's okay for you to say, I regret doing this. It's okay, because you're human, and any human, you're bound to be accountable to your actions. Yeah? But let those actions don't define you. You're saying, I regret doing this. I'm so unworthy. I'm so undeserving. I'm so how they say it. I've forgotten how they say it. But you always, tying yourself to the mistake. It's not good, because the moment you differentiate yourself from the mistake, that means you'll be able to be more accountable and to heal and also to do better. All right? And also another thing that you can do as a person is, I don't know, when you're trying, maybe when you do a mistake or anything bad happens to you, or when you failed, or anything that happens to you, someone humiliates you, someone bullies you, someone shouts at you in the public and all that, instead of maybe saying, I deserve this, I deserve to be, I deserve the bad things to happen to me, or I deserve to face this and all that. No. Instead of doing that, maybe hold your hand or touch your chest. First, we have that, something we call butterfly hug. You give yourself a butterfly hug and you're like, okay, you tried. However much you did not win, however much you've not passed, however much you have failed, but you tried. You showed up. And it's going to be better. Like, be your number one cheerleader. Be your number one comforter. I know it's hard, but you'll get used to it. And your brain will be like, oh, we can even be like this in this storm, then we can do better. So that means this will help you not to even start to associate yourself with the action itself, like with the failure itself. You failing and you're like, me, I'm a failure. Me, I knew. There's nothing better I can bring to the table. You have something better you can bring to the table. Maybe. Things that didn't go well as you planned. Yeah? Yes? So, just hold your hand, or touch your chest, or give yourself a butterfly hug. And you're like, you know what? We tried. So another thing that you can do is to write down. Okay, to write down or to say to contact. How can I say it? As I talked about it, like every time you feel like you get that inner critic, try to speak back. Try to speak back to it. Try to speak back to it. Try to speak back to it. Yeah, you know when it says you're a loser, you're like, no, I've lost today, but I can do better next time. Okay, you've lost that relationship and like, no one, no man will ever love you, no man will ever treat you better, or no woman will ever love you the way you are. You're like, no, maybe she wasn't meant for me. Because sometimes twesifane ku bantu, but they're not meant for us. No mwesi bako, no mwesi bako, no mwesi bako. But nature sense, they're not meant for you. They're meant for other people and also meant for someone else, you know? Yeah. Okay. Another thing, let's normalize maybe speaking to other people around us. Like if you have that friend, sometimes bring your shame to them, because every time you stop covering that shame, your brain will be like, oh, we are free now. So start to speak, get to someone you trust. I say someone you trust. If you don't have any person, then you can go for counseling. If you don't have any counselor, you can teach yourself to write down. Or not even write. If you're the kind of a person who is like me, I hate writing. I always record myself. And I tell myself my day. I'm like, you know what, this and this happened to me, but I know it will get better. So I start to, you know, the moment you pour out your heart, sometimes you get a bit relieved. So if you have no friend, if you can, some of us are good at journaling, you can journal down. If you're not good at journaling, you can record yourself, or you can record a video or an audio. Me, I always do that. And sometimes you can even record those nice words to yourself. If you want the attention, if you want the appreciation from people and they're not giving it to you, please give it to yourself. Give yourself the flowers that you need. Because, yeah, you have to be your number one cheerleader. You have to be your number one fan. You're the project in progress. So you have to, push it. You have to pour into it so that you can achieve something from it. So pour into it. Because the more you pour into yourself, it's easier to pour into other people. Because you cannot pour from an empty cup. You have to fill your cup first and pour into other people. Yeah. And another thing, if you're trying to figure out life, or life is a bit hard for you right now, or you want to heal from self-hatred, because self-hatred comes with self-sabotaging. The moment you hate yourself, definitely you do whatever it takes to sabotage yourself, to sabotage your relationships, your workplace, your success, because you hate yourself. Just imagine the person you hate. You do anything to put them down. So imagine you're hating yourself. You do anything indirectly to put yourself down, yeah? Yes. So get counseling, professional help. Professional help is so good. It can be so good for you, because we counselors were trained to help people like you, to hold your hand, to work with you, to teach you more coping mechanisms, to support you, to build your resilience, to make you be better. Yeah, so speak to a counselor if you can. So tonight's takeaway, as we are closing our show, as we are coming to the end of our show, I want you to know that self-hatred convinces you that it is protecting you from disappointments, from arrogance, from you becoming unlikable. But hatred, even turned inwards, has never once built anything good. Yeah. Because it has never made anyone kinder, more successful, more lovable. It only makes people small and even more afraid. So I want you to have that in your mind. If you've been shrinking yourself, if you've been putting yourself down just because you want to be more likable, you want to be more lovable, you're protecting yourself and all that, I want you to know that self-hatred has never been anything good, but rather it is making you more afraid and even more unlikable. I'm here to tell you that. And tonight, before you sleep, I want you to try out something. One thing for me. Look in the mirror, the same mirror I asked you about at the beginning of this show. You remember? when I told you when you look in the mirror, what is that word that comes into your mind? So today, I want you to instead, like, trust the usual statement that you always say to yourself, even if it's not a mirror, even if you always, maybe every time you get a chance alone, the words you speak to yourself. Now, I want you to trust those words and make them more positive. Yeah? So, just tell it yourself. Let me even read. I had written it somewhere. I am allowed to be a work in progress and still be worthy of kindness, starting with my own. Because some of us, we think that when we make a mistake, like we are all trained that the moment we make a mistake, we're unworthy. We are non-deserving. But have it in your mind that you are just a work in progress. I'm not telling you to stop being accountable for your actions, but I want you to know that you're just a work in progress. So every day I want you to speak to yourself like that. You're like, I'm a work in progress. However much I make mistakes, but I'm still lovable. It doesn't mean that I have to be on my best behavior, have to be perfect all the time to be lovable. I can be lovable regardless because I'm just work in progress. Yeah. I know at first it might not make sense because, for you think that the truth that it is the truth that you're unlikable and all that, but the more you repeat it, belief is built through repeated words or repeated beliefs, like the repeated things that happen to you or you say to yourself. That's how beliefs are created. So I want you to speak it every day. I know at first it might not make sense and all that, but keep on moving. Keep on feeling that thing from within. I assure you, things are going to get better. The moment you do a mistake, do not rush to criticize yourself. Just speak to yourself with a lot of kindness, yeah? Yes? Okay, thank you so much for being on here. Even up to now, you've really... it's amazing. Thank you so much. We do not take this for granted. Thank you so much for always tuning into For TV. Thank you so much for always tuning into Mind Talks with Sandra, where we do believe a conversation, a simple conversation can start off. Someone is healing and they'll be better. Remember, healing doesn't happen in one day. Healing is a process. Healing takes in effort. So you need to put in effort. However much sometimes you may fail, but do not just give up. Keep showing up to yourself because you are the best project that you will ever work on in this life. Work on your belief system, work on your mindset, work on your environment, work on yourself. And I believe that you will be a better person, you'll be a better human for yourself because everything starts with you. The moment you become confident in yourself, the moment you become okay with yourself, the moment you pour into yourself, it will be easier for other people. That's why we always say, I have interpersonal and intrapersonal skills. Yeah, those things work hand in hand. You cannot have interpersonal skills if you do not have intrapersonal skills. Yes. So it comes from within and outwards. Even if you work on those skills, even if you go and do masters and all that, everything comes from within. Those masters are important, but most things, they come from within. Thank you so much for being great listeners and words. Thank you so much for always tuning in. Always catch us live every Wednesday, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. only here on For TV. I'm your host, Sandra, a counselor by profession and a mental health advocate. So always, you can check out on me in case you want personal counseling or individual counseling. Thank you so much. Bye.
Each morning and see the sun, another day of life. breath, for every smile. You've carried me through every mile. I thank you, God, for my family's love. A gift so pure, sent from above. For friends who stand when times are tough. Your blessings, Lord.